All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. It's good to see Dave and Kyle. Aloha, all the way from Hawaii. Wings up, Dave. Wings up, Damon, the trainer. Benny Johnson, good to always see you on the call. And Eva, always a pleasure to have you on the call as well, guys. So I just wanted just to kind of reiterate, as I say every week, that I am grateful for you all showing up time after time after time, okay? So one of the things that, we're going to continue to keep pushing on our agenda is making sure that we be consistent and our doings, making sure that we be consistent in our trainings and making sure we're consistent in, our selling and things of that nature. Okay. So we want to make sure that when we start practicing these things, it's going to produce some results that you've never seen before just by way of your consistency. All right. So keep it up. Benny is always an encouragement to me, and I use Benny for an example. Benny being 83 years old, Benny is still showing up. And Benny, thank you so much for being that example that it doesn't matter how old you are or anything, that you can continue to keep showing up. So thank you for that strength. You're giving the team strength every time we see you on the call, and we definitely appreciate you all. Appreciate you as well. Okay, so with that being said, we're going to get right into the training for today. Okay, so today is y'all see all my tabs open. Here we go. Today is going to be one of my favorite topics. You guys can see the screen, okay? We good?
Yes, sir.
All right. Excellent.
Yes.
Excellent. And I am recording. I want to make sure y'all know I forget. So I'm recording, right? Yes. Okay. All right. So one of the topics that you guys know that's always near and dear to me is dealing in the area of selling, okay? And why is that? Well, because my whole career has been based on selling, all right? And I've been in sales now for 35 years. 35 years I've been in sales. I've done nothing but sales. I remember one of my jobs, I made hamburgers for a little bit. Um, and I was a pretty good hamburger maker, by the way. Uh, but all of my jobs have been in sales. And I stayed in the sales industry because as I grew in it, number one, it paid a lot of money. Sales paid well. Most of your successful people and millionaires have done it by way of sales. But I like the challenge of it. See, there's a challenge in sales because, we chase the nose. Yes, that's right. Chase the nose, right? See, a lot of times you say, well, I thought I should be chasing the yeses. Well, guess what? Those no's and inspect these no's so you can overcome those challenges. The more no's, because you're going to get more no's than yeses, right? So expect those no's, but you have to know how to convert those no's into yeses. And the reason why you chase those no's because it's more no's than it is going to be yeses in the beginning, right? So you got to learn how to convert those no's. So be okay with the no. Be okay with someone telling you no, they're not interested. Be okay with someone saying no, I don't think I'd have a need for it right now, but because of your sell technique, you can uncover the needs. Okay. So a lot of times amateur salespeople, what they do is they shy away from the no's. And what it does is it brings on a barrier where it blocks them from performing because they're scared of being told no. But there's proven selling strategies that helps you to convert those no's into yeses skillfully. And to learn these techniques skillfully, you have to be taught. Okay. So I taught on a corporate level in sales and became a certified sales trainer at SBC Global, and I taught the sales team on an executive level how to sell. And then I also taught on some mortgage companies, Oak Street Mortgage reps. I taught as another company that had reps. They would bring me in over a weekend to teach them how to sell and especially sell over the phone. So some of these lessons that we're going to go over today is techniques that I use all the time or used to use when I was on the phone selling and I was trying to get these customers and I was getting faced with a lot of no's. Where when in my amateur days, I would say, you know what, I don't want to talk to anybody because, they're going to tell me no. And it took a seasoned salesperson for me to say, no, man, chase those no's, get those no's. But you have to convert those no's into yeses. That's what experienced salespeople do. That's what experienced salespeople do. So when was the last time in some of your sales experience, and some of you all have been in sales for a while, but when was the last time that you received a yes? When was the last time you were told yes to your sale? Okay, and I want you to think about that. Whatever it is that you were selling, when was the last time? When was the last time they told you yes, and why? Why did they tell you yes to that sale? Okay, that's a rhetorical question. I want you to think about that. Okay, the last thing that you sold, why did they tell you yes? What made that sale effective? And what made it effortless? Okay, was it your relationship with them? Was it that you were detailed in explaining your product? What made them say yes? And those are the analytical questions that you want to always ask when you're self-examining yourself in sales. What made your customer say yes? We know a lot of times what make them say no, but analyze what made them say yes, right? So you can build from that. Practice on the ones that's telling you no to overcome them, to overthrow the no. Okay? Because that's what you want to do ultimately. You want to overthrow the no and turn it into a yes. So these proven selling strategies that we're going to go over is going to help you to do that. All right. So because all proven selling strategy is just these are just different approaches. These are tested approaches, things that have worked with some of the greats, some of the people that just specialize in sales and understand the psychology of sales. They're testing the repeatable approaches that has been used consistently and has been proven to produce successful outcomes, okay, and successful conversions. This is what we were just speaking of, conversions. You have to be one to turn those no's into yes. You got to learn how to convert. Okay, a no simply means that they just don't have enough information to formulate a decision. Or a no just means that they don't realize that they have a need for what you're offering. But it does not mean that they don't have a need. They sometimes just don't know they don't have a need. Okay. And you have to be able to convert them to show them that there's a need. So proving selling strategies are just testing and repeatable approaches that consistently lead to successful conversions. Regardless of whatever product you have, or regardless of whatever service you have, regardless of the audience that you're servicing, there's proven selling strategies that simply work. And when you're selling, you have to think about controlling and driving the ship, right? Driving the ship and making sure that you want the ship to go this way, you want to go this way, but you have to be in the driver's seat. So some of the techniques that I'm about to show you is going to help you to be in the driver's seat. One of my favorite techniques that I used to use over the phone all the time in the mortgage industry was going 3D. I became a master in doing. As a matter of fact, I started teaching a lot of people about going 3D because people didn't understand that this is just the rule of why. Why are you doing what you're doing? Getting down to the root of the reason. Okay. So the purpose is simply to uncover the true buyer's motivation by asking the why 3 times, right? This is why it's called going 3D. This is a technique. You guys, hopefully you're writing some of this down. Okay. So, and memorizing this, because as you're talking to your customers, as you're talking to people, whether it's on the conversation in front of you, remember these techniques and use them, even in your conversation. You want to uncover when you're speaking to people, if you're at the dinner table, you're at your church or whatever, and you're trying to get information, going 3D is a way to do that, because really what you're just trying to get down to is a person's why. And here's the thing, a person cannot say no against their own why. Does that make sense? They'll never say no against their own why. Because when you get down to the real reason of why they're doing what they're doing, and you have a solution to that, to allow their why to come to fruition, they can't say no to their why. Okay, so you're going to uncover the buyer's motivation by asking why 3 times. This is called going 3D. Why are you looking for this solution, Damien? Okay, Damien says that we need to cut costs. Excellent, Damien. Let me ask you, why is cutting costs so important? Damien says our margins are being squeezed. Wow, I completely understand that. Now I want to ask Damien, what about your margins being squeezed? Why are they being squeezed? He's going deeper. Because we're expanding and our overhead is growing faster than our revenue. So the real reason what Damien needs is he needs funding, because they're expanding and their overhead is growing faster than their revenue. That's the real reason. Okay. So yes, they want to cut, they need to cut costs. Why is it important to cut costs? Because the margins are being squeezed. Okay, why is your margins being squeezed? Because they're expanding and overhead is growing faster than revenue. So now you have to be the solution-driven person to understand that the real reason that their margins are being squeezed and they're in this situation is because they're expanding, and they have to have a solution to their overhead growing faster than their revenue. So what does that mean? That they're growing, right? They're growing fast. They're growing fast. And they need some revenue to keep up with the growth. Okay? So you being a solution maker, and this is just in this particular scenario, this works for anything. Okay? You being the solution maker, you always want to know why is it why are you doing what you're doing? You want to ask, why is it important? Okay. And then the other one is, why are you doing that? Okay. Why is that important to you? So once you tell them why it's important, well, why is that important to you? What does that make you feel like that? Because you're just trying to get down to the third why. That third why is always going to tell you what the real deal is. And that's where you attach your product to. You see, that's where you attach your product to. And so what this does is that this now, you can use this because now you can sell not just the product, but what you're giving these customer now, you're giving this guy relief. You're giving him growth and you're giving him control, which is what the real pain is. You just gave him relief. You're thinking that you're giving him money, but what you're really giving him is relief. And you're giving him the opportunity to grow. The money is just part of the tool, but you had to uncover that by asking the whys. Does this make sense? So this technique is called going 3D. Going 3D. Okay. You can use this for someone buying a house. We should use it for people buying a house. Hey, why are you, let me ask you, why are you purchasing this house? Well, I want to move to a safer neighborhood. Okay. Why is it important that you move into a safer neighborhood? Well, because I have grandsons or I have children and I want them to be able to play in the yard safely. Excellent. I totally understand that. Let me ask you this, Damien. Why is it important for your children to be able to play in the yard safely? Why is that important for you? Well, that's important for me because, you know, I can relax knowing that, my children are not being kidnapped or they're not being endangered and they're not out just in the opening anywhere, and they can enjoy themselves, so forth and so on, and it gives me a sense of relaxation and I can, be at ease. Well, this 3D rule that we just completed, now we uncovered that really what that particular customer wants is to be at ease. It's not about the house and buying a house. What they really want is to be at ease. And so this is what this technique teaches you, to go deeper to find out what the real reason is, because now you're going to attach your solution to them being at ease. Okay? You're going to attach your solution to them being at ease. This is called the going 3D rule, or to go 3D. All right? All right. Yeah, I'll put that in your memory there. Okay. So here's another one we use. Some of you salespeople on a call that's been trained in sales for some time now know this. But the 3Fs is the feel, felt, found, right? The feel, felt, found. So the purpose of the feel, felt, found, or the 3F technique, this is just another tool. Okay. The purpose of this tool is to overcome objections using empathy and social proof. Okay. Overcome objections. This is what this is about. Okay. Overcome people saying, I don't think I need that service right now. And so you're going to use the 3F technique. Okay. That you can say to this particular customer, Ophelia, I totally understand how you feel. I felt that way before. I felt that way. Others have felt the same way you felt when it came to purchasing properties in this area. But what they found is that when they purchased in this area, they got it. They were able to be part of a wonderful community with a beautiful view and a beautiful park. Awesome neighbors and just a great camaraderie. So I totally understand. But if you'll give me a minute, we can, whatever, guys. So you see, so overcoming objections is the key. You want to overcome it using the tools. So 3Fs is the way to do that. And you can use this once again with any product as well. So we're talking about tweaking your sales techniques and tweaking your ability to get in front of customers and not be fearful of rejection. Okay, so overcoming objections. Listen, I understand how you feel about switching vendors. Many of our clients felt that way initially, but what they found is that our support actually saved them hours each week. You see, just different examples of that. This is the feel, felt, found. We used to use this technique years and years ago. Feel, felt, found. Okay. All right. And I know some of you seasoned salespeople on here, like Malik, knows all about this. And Eva, you guys know all about this. Okay. The feel, felt, found technique. So when you're wanting to overcome objections, when people tell you, hey, you know what? I don't want your, that workplace wellness right now. I don't think I need that right now. You know what, Dave, I totally understand how you feel. There was some other companies that actually felt the same way that I spoke with. But what they found is that when they sat there and listened to me and allowed me to look at their payroll structure, that they were spending an enormous amount of money that they needed to recoup, and they found that this was a system that was able to do that further. So if you'll give me 5 or 10 minutes, I can show you what I showed them, and it may be of interest to you. Okay, so that's the feel, felt, found, overcoming objections. Okay, you can use this. You can use this in anything. Think about any product or any program that you can think of where someone is telling you no, right? Some of you single guys can use this when you're trying to date a girl, when she tells you no. You can say, sweetheart, I totally understand how you feel. Some other women have felt like that before. But what they found was if they gave me a shot that I was a really cool dude, and I'm an awesome person to be with. If you give me 5 minutes, I can tell you some of the things that you can experience with being with me, right? So it works. So y'all, use that one. But this is the 3 F's. This is the feel, fail, found. Okay. All right. Now we talked about this one in our sales training before. Some of you all remember the Duffy approach. Y'all, who remembers the Duffy approach?
I do.
All right. The Duffy approach, guys, it neutralizes the sales resistance by deflecting the pressure. This is a deflecting technique. This is called the Duffy approach. One of y'all looked up his first name. I always forget his first name that created this technique, but it's Mr. Duffy. And this approach, what this does is that this allows you to act like you're not trying to sell. I'm not here to sell you. No, I'm not here to sell you. You may or may not be a fit for this, but let me walk you through it. Okay. I'm not here to sell you. This is not why I'm here. And a lot of you all with the compliance piece can really use this Duffy approach because it'll come in handy for those that you're just initiating, conversation with. That's saying to you, hey, what are you selling me? Listen, I'm not trying to sell you anything. And I know you're probably wondering why I'm here. Okay. But this may be a product, or it's maybe a service that you need. This may not be a service that you need. But give me a second. Let me walk you through what I have just to let you know that, just to see if this is something that you can utilize. Why is this? Because what you're trying to do is lower defense. What happens is that when you go into a new situation, and this Duffy approach always is good with, cold calling, or going into new environments where people don't know you, they've never talked to anybody that knows you or anything like that. Their defense goes up. And so when you're on the phone with them or even in person, they're going to naturally put their guards up. Okay. They're going to naturally put their guards up because they know that you're coming in, you know, to try to close a deal, or coming in for the kill, right? So they're going to put their guards up in defense of whatever it is that you're about to try to offer. So your job here in using this approach is to cause them to lower their defense. And you lower their defense by taking off the table. Number one, I'm not trying to sell you anything. And you are trying to sell something, but you're going to take off the table that I'm not trying to sell you anything. You may or may not be a fit for this program. I don't know. Let me walk you through it so allow you to make a good judgment call. I'm not here trying to push anything to you. You see, so it lowers their defense, it builds trust, and it makes them feel like that they're still in control. one of the things that you want to have your customer to be, especially when you understand your customer, okay? So let me say this. You want them to feel like they're in control, but they should never be in control, right? But you have to understand your customer too. Let me say this, that whether your customer, the decision making is recessive or he's uh, an aggressive type, okay? You got to, or dominant, I'm sorry, dominant. Recessive or dominant. You have to identify whether your decision maker is recessive or dominant. It's another thing, okay? And all you salespeople on here that understand sales from a psychological standpoint and the studies of sales, that you know that if the person is recessive, you want to be the dominant one. You want to be the dominant because the recessive people likes people to tell them what to do. But if your decision maker is dominant, you don't want to be dominant here because then you guys are going to do this. At this point, you want to make the customer feel dominant by using these type of techniques so they can continue to feel like they're still in control. This is what skillful salespeople are able to do. They'll make a dominant person feel like they're still dominant. They're still that power maker. They're still that power decision maker. They're still in control. And all along, the skillful salesperson is steering the ship and causing them to do uh, what they want them to do and go in the direction that they want them to go. Right. So you're going to act like you're not trying to sell using this Duffy approach. Okay. You take out one of the ways that we used to do is you take out their questions right away. Okay. You take out their questions right away in the beginning by saying things like, I know you're wondering why I'm calling you and who I am. Okay. I trust me, I get that all the time, right? So you just say it to them what they're thinking, and now you can right now insert, my name is Mo, I'm a compliance agent with G2 Global Network, so forth and so on. So I'm not here to sell you anything. I'm actually here to talk to you about some overspending that you've been doing in your company with your medical benefits or whatever you guys are selling. Okay, so you're lowering the threat in the beginning and to the decision maker that you're not here to attack them. You're not here to shove anything down their throat because they don't have time for that. They don't feel like talking to anybody that's trying to sell them the next best thing. That's not what you're here to do. And this is what the Duffy approach allows you to do. You act like you're not trying to sell anything. No, I get it. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm just here. I'm actually here just to make sure that you're compliant. And you've activated your FICA tax credits. Okay. So, I'm just using that as an example. All right. So it doesn't matter, whatever it is that that you're selling, you can still use this. All right. So, whether you're selling funding, hey, no, I'm not trying to say, listen, I'm a solution maker. I understand that there may be some issues in your company where you might need some help at, whether it's expanding, is it retention? I don't know. What's some of the areas in your company that, maybe, we can button up for you. Okay. So, and let me be, and you be the professional, you be the resource person for it. So people don't like salespeople, guys. People don't like salespeople. Hopefully you guys realize that they don't like salespeople. Nobody wants to talk to salespeople. Remember, do you want to talk to salespeople when they call you on the phone? What's the first thing you say? Well, what is it that you want? Right? Listen, I don't have time. No, right? So they don't want to talk to salespeople. But if these salespeople that were calling you that use this approach with you to try to neutralize the sales resistance, they'll get a lot further. Hey, Eva, I know you're probably listen. I know you're probably busy with your family. I wanted to share some information with you about your solar system in that area. You got a second?
Yes, sir, I sure do.
I mean, so we said in the beginning, I know you're probably busy and you with your family and things of that nature. So you acknowledging the Duffy approach acknowledges that what they're already thinking. So a lot of times they're thinking, what do these people want? I'm busy. I'm with my family. So you're gonna say that. I know you're busy and you're with your family, or you might be tied up right now. I wanted to just call you to maybe set aside a little time to discuss whatever your product is, and see if there's something that we can, to move forward in or whatever. Okay. So just neutralize the conversation is what I'm saying by utilizing the Duffy approach, whatever that product is. All right. Here's another one. This is where we're talking about closing. This technique is called the assumptive close. Assumptive close. Who remembers this one? The
I do.
assumptive close. You remember that one? Who's that, Sean?
I assume that they're going to close tonight.
That's right.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and start writing.
There you go. That's right, Sean. That's right, Eva. Okay. You're going to assume the close. All right. So after you spoke to a customer, you never ask the customer, this is how you close. I always use the assumptive close. When you speak to a customer and you're putting together proposals and things of that nature, okay, you want to say to them, all right, so what day do we want to sign the final papers? Are you going to be available on Friday so we can, get this locked in and nailed down? I'm not asking for the sale. I'm telling you that Friday is the day that we can go ahead and get this not this deal nailed down. Right. So I'm assuming all the work that I just did and all the conversation that I just had and all the three deep and I just completed that we're about to close this thing, right? So using that assumptive close really is just it's just to guide the customer uh uh confidently toward you closing that deal by assuming they're going to say yes. We're not asking. You're assuming that it's a yes. Why wouldn't they say yes to me? What will be the reason? And if you have that attitude, you're going to close more deals. Why wouldn't they say yes to me? Because when you use an assumptive closer, what if they do tell you? Sean, you there?
I'm here.
Okay, Sean, let me ask you. You said, I'm assuming that we're going to go ahead and close this deal on Friday. And you say to me, give me time to what?
I need some time to think about it. The wife hates salesmen. I don't know if I have the money in the bank. My breath stink. Something like that. Like I need to go wash my
Exactly.
hair.
All of that, right? So that's that. Even using the assumptive close, we'll get clients like Sean, right? But because I use the assumptive close, I now get to come back and say, "No, I completely understand. Listen, I understand how you feel. I've had some customers that felt like that before. They just they got the information that I delivered to them, and they wasn't really ready to make the decision yet. But then what they found out is that after they thought about it, after a night or so, they came back and they said to me, let's move forward because it just makes sense to them, and they've been happily ever after. Let me ask you, Sean, is there a particular reason that you may not be ready to pull the trigger this very second? I'm just out of curiosity, no pressure.
Oh, but like I said, I have to check the bank account. But I mean, it makes sense to me. But I just really can't do it now.
Yeah, no, great. So was there a particular reason outside of the bank account that you couldn't do it? Or, is there just some hesitancy on the information that you're not clear about?
The second one was like my wife will put me in the doghouse if I ever buy something else.
Hey,
So I have to get another approval.
I completely understand. Let's do this. Let's go ahead, just so your wife can be comfortable. Let's get her on the line on tomorrow as well with you. I'll go ahead and do a recap of everything I went over with you today, and just so she can just feel just as happy and excited about this program that I know you are. What time
Good
is
luck.
this?
Good luck. Good luck.
Hey, I
She,
totally understand. Let's get her on.
I tell the salesman that she's a sales assassin.
Oh man, I love it. Listen, that's a good thing I'm not a sales guy. So
Uh,
the good thing I'm not a
well,
sales guy.
let's see if she can come. We can make a time. I'm free tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? I got like maybe an hour between 2 and 3 p.m. Central. If you do a quick call and get her off guard, maybe she don't know what
Absolutely.
the heck's going on,
Yep.
and
Just
we'll
give
get
me
her in
2
front of
minutes
her.
to do my commercial. Listen, 2 minutes and we're off the line. Okay. See, it's non-threatening. It's non-threatening, right? So then you ask, so what day we already nailed down the time now, but normally you would ask, so what day you want to do this? You want to do this on a Monday or Tuesday? You know, should we get you set up with the standard plan or premium option? Which one that you like? So when we get back on the phone with your wife, you think she's gonna want the premium plan or the standard plan? You see what I mean? So
Yeah.
so this is just us setting the assumptive. The assumption that this is a done deal. So what this does is it allows me to come back, right? Even when we have that resistance and use the other techniques that we've learned, like the feel, fail, found, right? Feel, fail, found technique. And you can mix that in with the assumptive close. Is this making sense, guys?
Yeah. What was that? The feel, felt, found?
Yeah, I get feel, felt, found right here. That's the 3 F's. Okay, that's the one where
Oh,
hey,
yeah,
I,
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
understand how
Okay.
you feel, right? So that's the feel, felt, found. That's called the 3 F's approach. All right, and this is the Duffy approach. These are all sales techniques. All right, Assumptive close. All right, here's the takeaway. G always tells me all the time, I'm the master of the takeaway. Man, I will take away a deal and from people in a second and tell them, hey, don't worry about it. We don't have to do it. And in my breath, I'll be praying, hey, don't you tell me no.
Yeah, take it away a little bit, and then they because people miss what
Yeah.
miss what they take away or something.
So the takeaway, you use scarcity or reverse psychology just to create this urgency. So the takeaway, what it does is it allows people, because nobody wants to, they want to feel exclusive. All right, they want to feel people want to feel like they're not losing anything. Okay, they don't want to lose anything, so they feel like the takeaway when you use a takeaway technique, it's snatching an opportunity right from underneath their feet. This is called the takeaway. So when do you use the takeaway? Okay. So you know what, Mr. Customer, this may not be the right fit for you, and that's okay. Honestly, it's not the right fit for everyone, especially, if the rate is too much for you and the opportunity that you stated that you wanted to have is not that important, for you. I tell you what, let's go ahead and move on. We can shake hands and continue to be friends. And if you find anything else out there that you think that can top the options that I've given you or the service that I've given you, hey, give me, go with that person. But other than that, give me a call back. Okay.
Okay.
You see? Right. Oh, okay.
Well,
All
no,
right.
I think I think it's gonna go higher in price, man. Come back.
Hey, listen.
It,
I
it
get it.
is gonna go higher in price.
Yeah, it's going to go higher. So these are the things. So now the takeaway only works if you built your case properly, which means if you've built up yourself and your product and your program as a solution properly. If you have not given them any substance, the takeaway doesn't work. You're just saying bye-bye and they're saying bye-bye. Right, Sean?
Yeah, like the value of it. If they see the
value.
true value, yeah,
Right.
they say, "Wait a minute, this is awesome,"
Right.
but I can't afford it. All right, I'm gonna lose it. Come
That's
back.
correct. So if you have not made them, allowed them to see the value of what you're offering, the takeaway close does not work. Okay? It works because it makes what you're offering feel exclusive. Hey, you can't get this from anywhere but me. So I tell you what, you can go try to find if you can do it anywhere. Hey, if you can, go ahead. If not, come back and see me. But it only works if you build your case properly. Okay, that's the takeaway. Here's another one. It's called the FOMO. Y'all ever heard of FOMO? The fear of missing out? Anybody heard the Jones effect? This is high-tech stuff, guys, I'm teaching you. Okay, in sales. This is sales. This is sales 101. We can go deep into some of this stuff later on, but this is called the Jones effect. This is another one. This is where you're leveraging social proof and fear of missing out. You should be using the FOMO approach all the time, especially when you're building. Okay? When you're building. The FOMO approach allows you to use social proof like others that have been successful in whatever it is that you're trying to offer. You may be trying to offer loans and closing them on some deals. And they want to do a hotel. Hey, we do hotel deals. And you may not have never closed a hotel deal in your life, but you can leverage the social proof that your team, your network does. And if they don't deal with you, they're going to miss out. This is the fear of missing out, right? Hey, we handle those type of deals. Here's the proof. And it might just be somebody on your team that handled a deal like that. But it's in your network. So you have to use social proof. So when you're building, you don't have your own claim. Let me tell you, guy, I was in a meeting the other day, marketing guy who is going to start doing, possibly doing a lot of marketing for us, our G2 and our compliance team and things like that. So I was in a meeting with him the other day, and he does a lot of content creating and things of that nature, right? But the marketing part that with the system that he has is fairly new. He's been in the industry of photography and creating videos and things like that, editing and marketing. He's got a marketing background. He's been in that industry now for 30 years. But the part of creating the landing pages and the funnels and getting your platform out to social media and doing that stuff, it looks like he's pretty good at it, but he's only been doing that for a short period of time. And so he could not he did answer my question. I take that back. He answered my question, which is, what proof do you have of others that you service that can handle the magnitude of what we're putting together? His answer, because he just started this, he couldn't say he had proof, which he should have maybe used someone else, but in his particular industry, he couldn't. His proof was, he says, you're looking at our proof because when you look at our campaign, this is our proof of what we're able to do. You look at the quality of our work. He says, we are our own billboard. We're our own campaign. And I thought when he turned that answer around to himself and to his business, I thought that was genius. That was great. And I came back and says, oh, that means that we're it, huh? We're going to be the social proof. And he started laughing, but, he said, yeah, because, you guys will be kind of like our test pilot. Well, that's fine, but we don't want to pay you the money that you're talking about being paid because you don't have that type of leverage yet. So that's another story. But being able to use social proof will get you further in your sales conversation, even if you don't have the proof yourself. Okay. Even if you don't have the proof of the work that you've done, you get to say, hey, because you know that I've closed these church deals, you can say, hey, yeah, we close church deals all the time. Here's one of the deals that we've closed. Or we close hotel deals all the time. Here's one of the deals that we close. You definitely want to deal with me as your broker because and your solution maker because we have all the contacts needed. Okay. This is the FOMO approach. So most of your competitors in this industry have already made, the decision to work with me. Okay. People in this industry have already made this change. We just onboarded 3 companies just like yours last week. And it may not be me onboarding it, but it may have been Damien that onboarded these 3 companies. But I'm going to use Damien's success in closing that deal as social proof. Are you all with me? That's how you do it.
Yes, sir.
That's how you do it. You leverage your team's success for your own. Okay? So whatever success that we have in the network and other people's success, you can always say, yes, we can do that because that's true. You may not have done it personally, but that's true. Okay? So that's leveraging social proof and creating what's called the FOMO effect. The FOMO effect, FOMO. That's the fear of missing out. Okay? All right, this is called the pass. We almost done, guys. This is called the pass. This is good stuff, you all. Now, the pass is another technique that we've used in sales over the years as well. This is problem. You create the problem or identify the problem, agitate it, push it, poke the bear, and then solve it. Identify the problem, poke it, agitate it, okay, and then solve the problem. So you're going to structure your pitch to emotionally engage the buyer. Okay, the problem, you're spending too much. How it works, the problem, you're spending too much money on benefits. Okay, and you're spending your money on benefits. That's eating into your profits. It's taking away your money. And I know this frustrating your employees. It's costing you way too much. And this is causing an issue. See how I'm agitating it? I'm making them feel like, man, yeah, I know, right? But then I'm going to come back and solve it. But our platform reduces the cost and increases your retention. So your employees will be happy. And we can put that money back into your bottom line. So you can stop eating into your profits and stop frustrating all your employees. See, that's called the pass approach, right? You identify the problem and you say the problem so it can feel that pain. Remember, you're pinching them, right? And after you pinch them, you're going to aggravate it. That's eating into your profits. That's killing you. That's killing your business. You're going to lose all type of employees. Or you're going to lose all type of revenue going this route if you don't do anything about it. You're bleeding all over the place. But one of the things that I know is our G2 Global platform can reduce that cost and increase your retention so your people can stop leaving. And your bottom line can increase. And you can allocate some of these dollars that now into your marketing and increase your sales. Okay? That's called the pass. Problem, agitate, solve. Identify the problem, recognize the problem, state the problem, agitate the problem, then solve it. These are little tweaks that you can do to increase your sales. These are techniques. This is called the pass. All right, we almost done. I hope y'all getting this. This is called the permission pitch. This is another one. The permission pitch. You want to gain the buy-in and make the buyer feel like they're in control again. Listen, can I show you something that might help you with that? Would it be okay if I share how others solve this? You see, you're getting permission. All right. Can I show you something? So who would you use this on? Probably somebody that's a dominant person, right? That may not really be, giving you the energy that you want, right? Well, maybe it could be somebody that is giving you, some energy. But either way, you can use this technique. Can I show you something that might help you with that? Would it be okay if I shared how others have solved this issue? You're getting permission. So you just got to take these techniques and know when to use each one. Sometimes you might not have to use the permission approach. Okay, sometimes you might just have to use the Duffy. Sometimes you might have to use the Duffy with the 3 Fs. But once you start getting good at sales, you know where to place these approaches and when to do it. Because you'll start thinking about, hey, when could I do right here? Okay, it becomes second nature. All right. Hey, listen, can I show you something that might help you with that solution? I think this might be a solution for you. Just showing courtesy, right? So what it does is it builds rapport. It makes your pitch feel collaborative. This is staying away from people that's pushy, right? You don't sound pushy. You don't be pushy, right? Because people don't like pushy people. They don't like pushy salespeople. I get some of them guys calling me all the time, being pushy, trying to sell me money or things of that nature, or get me in on their teams or whatever it is, being pushy. That's not how that works. Especially with someone like me. Okay? So you have to know who you're dealing with to not be pushy. I'm not recessive. I'm a dominant guy. I'm not a recessive type person. So last thing I want is somebody calling me being pushy. You're going to get hung up on. So you need to know how you deal with people. So this is just another technique to learn how to build rapport and make your pitch sound a lot better, okay? So here's another one. It's called the price drop anchoring. It makes your offer feel like a bargain. You guys use this all the time, okay? You can present high value first. Most programs like this cost $10,000, but ours is only $3,500. We do this all the time. We talk about in training. We talk about, we talked about our membership drive, how our program to do the marketing, the things that you need to do to create this business in a box is going to cost you $35,000 or $15,000. But our program, you only have to pay, X amount of dollars, $50, $75, $150, right? So it's called cost justification. You're justifying your cost. You're lowering your cost. It's called a price drop anchoring, okay? So people compare, now evaluate in isolation. People compare, okay? All right, so listen.
Reminds me of memberships.
Say it again?
That reminds me of memberships.
Exactly. So proven selling strategies, why it matters, because it creates clarity in your approach. Okay, it allows you to close higher, give you higher close ratios, right? With a structured approach, you're more likely to address customers' needs effectively. And that's going to lead you to more closed deals, team. It also allows you to build trust and relationships. Okay? So a consistent customer-centric strategy shows professionalism and care, which fosters long-term trust. You want to build long-term relationships. Relationships, all right, is to carry you. The end word of that, or the end word to that, is ships. Ships is designed to carry you. Whether it's a relationship, right? A partnership, whatever type of ship that you're, a friendship, all type of ships are designed to carry you and to move you. So you want to be in long-term relationships because you're moving. So you want a consistent customer-centered strategy that shows that professionalism and care, which fosters that long-term relationship. Why? Because you're going to keep moving. It saves time and energy, right? Proven selling strategies saves your time and energy. You don't want to waste your time. Efficient strategies streamline your efforts, helping you to avoid wasted pitches, wasted time. Okay? And high potential leads. You don't want to waste that. So you need these selling strategies. You need them. Why you need them? Because these buyers right now, they're being a lot smarter. These buyers are a lot more informed. You got technology. They can, you got competitors everywhere. They can just Google people and, and get your service a lot of times from, other people in that area, right? So these buyers are becoming a lot smarter and they're becoming more informed. The other reason is because their attention spans are shorter. Their attention span, listen, they want something quick. What is it? Tell me, hurry up. What's going on? What do you have? What's the solution? And how can we do this? Right? Trust must be earned quickly. Right in the beginning of the door in your conversation, you need to be earning the trust of the decision maker. Okay, and that's going to come by way of your personality. That's going to come by way of how you come across in the first 5 seconds. What are they going to think about you when they see you and they hear you? Okay, and that's why all these techniques come into play. That Duffy approach is a great one when you're meeting people for the first time, and you have to try to earn their respect and their trust quickly. Malik, I know you wonder who I am and where I'm calling you and why I'm calling you. Listen, I'm Mo on G2 Global Network. I've been assigned to your company to make sure that you guys are applying your FICA tax credits because you're spending about $639,000 a year that you don't have to spend. Is this worth a conversation that we can talk about for maybe a couple of minutes? You see, that happened quick. I told him who I am. I told him where I'm coming from, and I told him that he had a situation of him spending too much money, astronomical number every year. Okay, and the market is saturated. These selling strategies work today because the market is saturated. The strategy helps you to stand out. All right. Now, the good thing with our position with this whole compliance and this workplace wellness, that's not saturated yet. That's not a saturated market. That's an open market right now. Okay. So you want to start with the right strategies. You want to learn how to choose your selling style as you go, whether you're solution-based or product-based. You want to be solution-based, never product-based. Solution-based focuses on solving customers' problems. Product-based emphasizes on features and benefits of the product itself. You want to always be solution-based. You want to be consultative versus transactional. Remember, we talked about transactional selling before, right? That was one of our trainings. We talked about transactional selling. You want to be consultative. Okay, so because consultative selling involves understanding the client's needs and advising them like you're a partner. Okay, like a partner, right? Transactional selling is focused on a quick one-time purchase. That's what amateurs do. They want to get in and get out. See what they can sell. That's it. Make a transaction. Right? You got to start with the right strategy, whether it's relationship driven or you're relationship driven or you're a one-time sale type person. Me, I'm relationship driven. I hate ruining relationships. I don't want to ever ruin relationships. I don't want to ruin relationships. I want to foster relationships and keep relationships for as long as possible. Good relationships, by the way, I'm talking. Not bad relationships. Bad relationships, I don't care. You can go somewhere, right? But good relationships, you want to keep. So relationship-driven selling builds a long-term connections and loyalty. You want long-term connections. You want people to be able to say, hey, we've been working together for 10 to 15 years now. Right? It also is a one-time sale, prioritizes immediate results without ongoing any engagement. So a one-time sale, it's just a one-time sale, has no ongoing engagement. Okay. So selling with ease, strategies that build trust. Listen, ask, don't assume. Use open-ended questions to build a trust. We're building trust. It's not, you only use the assume when you're closing. Okay. You use the assumption and the assume approach when you're closing. Now, in the beginning, you want to ask, don't assume. You want to use open-ended question. Now, with me, I'm going to assume throughout the process that you like me and you're listening to what I'm saying. So by the time I get to the close, I'm already built here, ready for the assumption close. But in the beginning, I want to ask open-ended questions because why? The objective is to get your customer talking. Too much time that you guys are trying to figure out what you're going to say. When sales is not about you talking, sales is all about you listening and being able to respond with information to whatever it is that they have going on. So selling with ease and strategies that build trust, listen, it calls you to listen more, understand their needs fully, educate, don't pitch. Stop trying to pitch and educate. You have to be the one that educates. This is why we try to do so much training so you can get information, right? You can learn how to sell. We do the training so you can get the product information. And so when it's time for you to share, you get to share insights, not just features. So now you're educating. You're not pitching. Okay? You want to create a pull and not a push. Make your offer attractive. Make it valuable. That's what this is about, right? And you learn that in using these techniques. Okay? So upgrade your sales tactics for more wins, guys. Upgrade your sales tactics. This is what this is about. You want to just tweak it by using these new tactics that you're learning now. Tweak your sales tactics by using the things that we're teaching you right now with the different approaches, the 3Fs, the Duffy, the assumption, the Jones effect, FOMO, right? Okay. Where to make the small shifts? The pre-sale, right in the beginning. Approve targeting who you about to talk to. Approve your qualification questions. Okay. And doing the sale, you want to make sure that you use storytelling, social proof. Listen, with our company, we've done this. We've been able to accomplish this. We've done churches all over the place. We've done hotels. We've done fix and flips. Yes, we do a lot of fix and flips. Right? Post-sale, follow up. Okay, this is one of the biggest things, guys. Follow up with your customer. When you follow up with your customer, and it's after the sale, it goes a long way. Okay. Hey, Mr. Customer, I'm just following up with you and just once again let you know I appreciate you doing business with me. Was there anything else that you need or something else that I can help you with that we did not discuss? Okay. So just add 3 questions, mini surveys before you pitch. Post or boost your conversation by 30% by doing that. So these are winning approaches for the modeling marketplace, guys. This authenticity over the hype. Stop with all the hype and just be authentic. Be yourself. Be authentic. Okay? Keep it short. Personalized video messages. Real-time engagement. Social selling with purpose and presence. Leveraging. You guys hear we talk about that all the time. Leveraging referrals and user-generated content. We just talked about that, leveraging that stuff. You have to leverage it. Okay, if you see we close a deal, you ought to be posting on your page, hey, exciting news, we just closed another one. You didn't say you just closed, just say, hey, we just closed another one. So now your audience is looking and saying, man, they're closing deals. They're going to assume that you closed the deal. And so it's bringing you the attention to you. So that's leveraging the referrals and user-generated content. Okay, these are different little tweaks that you have to do to increase your sales. Okay, so listen, Patricia Fripp says that you don't close a sale. You don't close a sale. You open a relationship. Isn't that powerful? You don't close a sale. We always talk about closing the deal. You don't close the deal. What you've done is open up a relationship. And if you want to build a long-term successful enterprise, that's what you have to do. Okay? You're opening a relationship. That's the mindset that you should have. Is that when you're closing that deal, what you've just done is you just put someone else into your network and you open up a relationship. All right. So the key takeaways here, guys, is that strategy is your foundation. It's not your script. Understanding your strategies, knowing whether or not you're consultative selling or you're transactional selling. What are you doing? Right. Okay. Understanding that small shifts leads to big results. Listen, people buy when they feel understood, not pressured. Not pressured. People buy when they feel like you understand exactly what it is that they're dealing with. You understand what their solution or situation is. So when they get that from you, they'll be more apt to buying from you. And today's buyers values trust, clarity, and value. They want to trust who they're dealing with. They want to be clear on what they're doing, and they want value. Okay, they need added value, and so that's where you guys come in at. This is where the rubber meets the road. Okay, this is where the rubber meets the road. Okay, so I want you to think about. I want you to think about everything that we just talked about, right? Think about what we just talked about. How powerful is it for you to be able to utilize these techniques and increase your sales? How powerful is that? Just by the little tweak, just by changing little things, right? This is powerful because it's all about the conversation. It's all about the conversation that you have. It's all about your positioning. It's about how you do it. Okay. So no matter what product you have, no matter what it is that you're selling and what you're offering, these techniques and these little tweaks will help you increase your sales. Listen, we've been doing a lot of training, you all. We train on a lot of sales training. We train on a lot of products. We do a lot of motivational training. You have to start taking this training now, okay? And you have to start making it happen. Make it count. Make it count. All right. Listen, if you have not applied for the compliance position, I know that they're still conducting the interviews and things of that nature. So you want to make sure that you get your application in. A lot of people are applying right now. We are on Indeed, and so a ton of people are applying for this position, and they're doing a lot of interviewing right now. So make sure that hey, listen, that's a program and a product that you can use these trainings on, that you don't have to sell, you don't have to get approved for financing. People don't have to have credit checks, no money exchange. That's a hot product for you to go into right now and to focus in on that compliance and just getting companies registered. So all these techniques that you just learned will come into play there, and it'll be fruitful. So this is my training for today. We're tweaking the selling techniques. We're tweaking what you're doing to increase your sales. Take this training, take it seriously, and put this into your mental repertoire, your mental database. Okay, so when you get this training, we post it in the group. Go back and let's get the video and and start and start practicing these techniques. Okay. All right, team. I appreciate you all for showing up. It's 12 minutes after the hour. 12 minutes after the hour, and we're going to wrap up. Okay.
This was great. Thank you.
You're absolutely welcome. Any questions? You're welcome, Kai.
Thank you, Mo. That was a good training. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed the training tonight. It was amazing. Thank you so much.
Okay, you're welcome. You're welcome. Stay on the line, Kaya, when you're done, so we can talk. Okay. All right.
Okay then.
All right. Anybody got any questions? Any more questions? Thank you all. Let me see what's in the chat. All right. Wings up, wings up. Okay. Excellent training. Excellent tips of the trade. Okay. Happy. Okay. I'm thankful for the training tonight. All right. I gotta go, guys. That's more. All right. Good. Okay. Good. So, all right. No questions there. All right. No questions. All right, guys. I appreciate you once again. Wings up to everybody. As always, I will see each and every one of you at the top. Wings up, team.
Great.
Tomorrow
Have a good
night.
night, everyone.
Peace.